Building on that foundation, incident handling follows defined stages with specific goals. The first is preparation, where tools, playbooks, and communication paths are ready. Next comes detection and analysis, confirming whether a suspected event truly violates expectations or policy. Containment follows, aiming to stop the spread or limit damage. Eradication removes the cause, and recovery restores normal operation. Finally, lessons learned solidify the improvements. Each stage has a distinct purpose, but the transitions between them matter most. Rushing between steps without validation can create blind spots or repeat harm. A mature process recognizes that speed is important, but sequence and discipline define success. Next comes triage, the immediate response phase that focuses on evidence first and stabilization second. When an incident surfaces, responders must capture volatile information like memory snapshots, log files, and connection states before systems reboot or overwrite clues. Only after evidence is secured should the team move to stabilize operations by isolating affected assets or redirecting traffic. A common mistake is to patch or reboot too early, destroying forensic traces that could later explain root cause. Skilled teams balance urgency with precision, knowing that the first 10 minutes often determine both investigative clarity and containment success. The guiding rule is simple: act fast but not blind. After triage, attention shifts to containment, which varies by scenario type. For a ransomware outbreak, containment may involve network segmentation and shutting down file shares. For a phishing breach, it could mean resetting credentials and blocking sender domains. Containment is the art of limiting scope without breaking essential operations. A poor containment plan can accidentally worsen impact, such as by deleting evidence or taking critical systems offline. Experienced responders choose the smallest effective boundary, keeping core services running while stopping spread. They also coordinate with communication teams to prevent unnecessary alarm. Effective containment stabilizes the battlefield so eradication can proceed with confidence. Recovery then focuses on restoring services in a safe, deliberate sequence. Systems return to operation based on business priorities rather than technical convenience. Critical workloads like payroll or medical systems recover first, followed by lower-impact services. Communication with users clarifies expected downtime and restoration progress. A well-defined recovery plan outlines dependencies, rollback options, and verification tests. For example, a finance system may resume only after its authentication service is stable and verified. The key is patience. Haste can undo earlier progress. Recovery proves not only that operations can resume, but that the organization has regained control of its environment. Coordinating updates among legal, communications, and leadership teams is essential during this process. Legal counsel may guide disclosure timelines. Communications teams craft accurate public statements, and leadership balances transparency with strategic restraint. Without synchronization, conflicting messages can worsen reputational damage. For instance, a premature press release may contradict ongoing forensics or incident containment. Clear communication channels ensure that each stakeholder receives verified information at the right time. In high-stress situations, unified messaging builds confidence both internally and externally. It turns a technical event into an organizational test of integrity and coordination. Alongside coordination, teams must make forensics-friendly choices throughout the response. That means preserving evidence before wiping drives, logging every action, and documenting commands run on affected systems. Even small details, like whether a system clock was correct, can influence an investigation. Forensic readiness ensures that technical evidence can stand up to scrutiny in audits or legal review. Imagine needing to prove the timeline of a breach months later. Without disciplined evidence handling, that becomes impossible. Treating forensics as integral to response, not an afterthought, strengthens both incident accuracy and institutional credibility. When incidents cross organizational boundaries, coordination with third parties becomes critical. Shared service providers, partners, or vendors may control systems essential to containment or recovery. Clarifying responsibility early avoids confusion about who isolates endpoints or notifies regulators. Consider a cloud-hosted application compromised through a provider's software component. Effective coordination depends on predefined contact points, mutual trust, and contractual clarity. Each side must understand what data can be shared and how communication flows. Collaboration should never wait until a crisis forces improvisation. Establishing these relationships in advance allows rapid, lawful, and consistent joint response when real events unfold. Throughout every phase, documentation remains vital, especially in real time. Responders should capture what happened, when, and why decisions were made. These notes form both the audit trail and the foundation for future lessons learned. Even simple entries, timestamps, observed symptoms, commands executed can later prove invaluable. Documenting as events occur prevents loss of detail and supports later review. Many teams use shared templates or secure wikis for this purpose, ensuring everyone contributes while preserving chronological order. Good documentation also lightens cognitive load, freeing responders to focus on solving problems rather than recalling past steps under stress. After an incident concludes, the organization must conduct an after-action review that leads to durable fixes. This reflection identifies what went well, what failed, and what process changes are needed. The goal is not to assign blame, but to improve readiness. Teams may adjust alert thresholds, training routines, or communication paths based on findings. A simple example is realizing that two teams assumed the other would contact a vendor, delaying containment. The next playbook update removes that ambiguity. True maturity shows when an organization learns faster than threats evolve, embedding those lessons into both culture and policy. Finally, incident metrics help measure progress and guide improvement. Containment latency, the time between detection and control, is a common indicator, as are recurrence rates for similar events. These numbers reveal whether procedures are improving or stagnating. Metrics must be interpreted carefully. Faster is not always better if quality drops. Combining quantitative measures with qualitative feedback paints a full picture. Over time, consistent metrics transform incident handling from reactive firefighting to managed performance. The act of measurement signals seriousness, showing that every response is an opportunity to grow stronger and more precise. In conclusion, repeatable, calm, and effective incident handling transforms crisis into competence. It ensures that when threats appear, response feels practiced rather than improvised. Control IR-4 embodies this mindset, emphasizing structure, evidence, and collaboration. Every organization will face unexpected challenges, but those that handle them with discipline emerge more resilient. Incident handling, at its best, is not about chasing alarms, but about restoring order, protecting people, and preserving trust in the systems that keep our world running. Thanks for listening. For more audio courses, daily newsletters, and more, please visit baremetalcyber.com.